sure you're not already a Canadian citizen.
Before you go through the hassle of applying for citizenship, take a short quiz to see if you may already be Canadian. The government outlines several caveats for being a citizen even if you weren't born there, many of which depend on your parents' citizenship. Maybe you secretly inherited their status at some point along the way.
Be at least 18 years old.
If you're not a legal adult, you've got an uphill climb ahead of you. Minors need their parent or legal guardian to fill out the application for them. They need to be permanent residents in Canada, and the parent must either be a citizen or applying to become one at the same time.
Or enter the pool for skilled immigrants.
Canada has a fast-track system for immigration called Express Entry. It's how skilled workers transition into a role in the country. All applicants into Express Entry are given specific scores based on their specific talents and job prospects and then ranked with other applicants. Those at the top of the rankings are invited to become permanent residents.
Have a permanent residence in Canada.
To become a permanent resident, people can choose between several avenues. They can apply through the province of their choice, go down a special entrepreneur route, get help from a family member who lives in Canada, or go through Quebec, which has special immigration requirements. Permanent residents are entitled to healthcare coverage and can work, study, and travel anywhere in Canada. You just can't vote, run for office, or hold some jobs with high security clearance.
Declare your intent to reside.
If you're invited to become a permanent resident, you must confirm your plans to stay Canadian. The government defines permanent residence as living in Canada for at least 2 years in a 5-year period. If you don't spend that much time within the borders, you could lose your permanent resident status. If you don't live in Canada, you must work outside Canada as a public official known as a Crown servant or live abroad with certain family members who are Crown servants.
Spend 6 years at that residence.
Permanent residents don't always become citizens. The bar for citizenship is higher. If you're living in Canada, you must have been a permanent resident and physically present in Canada for at least 1,460 days, in the 6 years immediately before the date of your application. You must also be present for 183 days during each of the 4 calendar years that are fully or partially within the 6 years before the application date.
Provide your income tax filing.
Like the residence requirement, you must be able to provide 4 years' worth of tax returns in the 6-year period leading up to the date of your application. Basically, they want to see if your job is legit.
Speak English or French.
Along with dozens of other countries, Canada has 2 official languages, English and French. To become a citizen, you need to know just one. You don't need to be fluent, just conversational enough to make small talk, give directions, use basic grammar, and know your vocab well enough to describe yourself.
Know a thing or two about Canada.
You should probably brush up on your Canadian history anyway, but the government also issues a formal quiz to applicants on the history, values, institutions, and symbols of Canada. You take the test if you're between 16 and 64 years old. Typically, it's a written test, but the citizenship officer may also ask questions orally.
Invest in durable clothes for your local climate.
Canada is the second largest country on Earth, behind Russia. As such, there is no singular Canadian climate, even if people may think it's just cold most of the time. Depending on how close you live to the British Columbia coast, for example, spring can begin as early as February and summer temperatures can rise into the 90s. So if you're looking for places to take up permanent residence, research what the weather's like. You won't waste money or space buying unnecessary items.
Take advantage of the customs of your new life.
Now that you've left your home country behind, and if you're an American, abandon the circus of presidential elections, embrace what makes Canada unique. Many Canadians express deep fondness for Tim Hortons, quirky slang, celebrity ambassadors, and hockey. No one will expect you to dive headfirst into this new world, but if you want to become a genuine citizen, formal requirements are only the start.